Top of the morning, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Tyson, the Gypsy King Fury. Tyson Fury poses with the man who beat Oleksandr Usyk. He stated, imagine what I'm going to do. Tyson Fury has taken to social media to post an image of the man who beat Oleksandr Usyk as an amateur. As you guys can see, the 34-year-old WBC heavyweight champion is posed with Sean Porter as he looks to secure an all-the-marble showdown with the undefeated Ukrainian. Fury 32-0 with one draw with 23 big wins by KO, called out the WBA, Super, IBO, and WBO champion after he beat fellow Brit Anthony Joshua. And he, of course, you can see what he has here. He says, at Showtime, Sean Porter, 5'7", welterweight guy, beat at USYKAA, which is Oleksandr Usyk. And he said, imagine what I'm going to do to you. Of course, Usyk was on the right end of an inexplicable split decision against Joshua, who had an outburst in an aftermath of the fight before confirming his desire to return to the ring sooner than later, and said that he only wanted to fight. The only fight that he was interested in was having added the vacant Ring Magazine title to his collection of silverware was one with the Gypsy King. Porter retired from boxing last year after being stopped by by Terrence Crawford in a challenge for the WBO world title at welterweight. And Fury, of course, imagine what I'm going to do to you. You big Dulce. And those are the words of Tyson, the Gypsy King Fury. Let me counterpunch. You got to love Tyson Fury because he's on his game. And his game is to get in the brain, okay? His game is to get in the brain and make you insane in the brain. Bars. And I think, and I like to see that about Tyson Fury because it was scaring me for a bit. Because before the Joshua and Usyk fight, he was talking about, I don't want to fight anybody that doesn't speak English, that's no name, unknown challenger, and things of that nature. And it was like, damn, where's the challenge in Tyson Fury? Did he lose the desire to want to fight the best, just by beating Dillian White and then exiting stage right? Bars. And another important thing I want to add, and I want to make people aware of. See, if you care for boxing, you care for the boxers. And if Tyson Fury lost interest in fighting the winner out of this fight, then I want to remind people of what could possibly happen to Tyson Fury if he decided to retire and stay retired. There may be cause for destruction. Okay? Because what happened to Tyson Fury when he beat the last guy, Vladimir Klitschko? He went on a drinking binge, a coke binge, a destructive destination. His path was just toxic. And he thought about killing himself. Then his mind wasn't right. His mind got ill because he didn't have the will to do the things that he knows that he's good at. He stopped training. He got 400 pounds. I want people to remember this because this could happen, or this could have happened to Tyson Fury had he went down that trail. Because if you guys can remember, there were little scares here and there on Tyson Fury, kicking taxis and stuff like that, making you think like what's going on with him, coming out of the saloon or the bar drunk with his dad and guys driving up. You know what I mean? Those are type of things that you don't want to see because we saw that before with Tyson Fury and it didn't end well. And it almost ended him. Okay, so saying all that to say this, I am glad that he's back, and I'm glad that he's deciding to take a positive and healthy step, with giving himself small challenges throughout life. Because once he stops and turns that light off, you don't know what the darkness holds. Okay, so I want people to be aware of it. So it's reason for rhyme when Tyson Fury decides to say, you know what, I'm out. Okay, So this is good. That means he's focused on something. That means he's training. That means he's looking forward to another task at hand. Okay? So that's a good thing with Tyson Fury. We want to keep him positive. We want to keep that mind jumping. And this the way that mind jumps is the way he wants to keep jumping. He wants to keep on fighting the next guy. You know, and the next guy is Oleksandr Usyk, right? That's the top guy. That's the guy that beat the guy that he wanted to fight. So why not? You know, and him posing it with Sean Porter. Let's talk about that for a minute. Okay. I talked to Kenny Porter, Sean Porter's father and manager. And he was there for that fight. They went over to the Ukraine, I believe. I believe they're in the Ukraine. And he told me about how that went down. Sean Porter, explained it himself, but, he rocked Usyk. He didn't knock Usyk out, but he rocked him. He kind of had him out on his feet, and, and then at that time they were at 165. Okay. So that wasn't completely middleweight, but it was like in between middleweight and super. Okay. So Sean Porter was at 165 before he decided to campaign at 147. And the reason he did that is like, okay, well, his father made the decision like, look, if you're going to do this, you're going to do this in a lower weight class, not there, because Sean Porter used to play football. And, those from members only know and seen the whole interview that I had with Kenny Porter. And he explained like, look, Sean Porter was he was in football and he was in boxing because he was all around athlete. That's why he was so successful in his career, and that's why all of his fights, even the losses, were tough. You know what I mean? He wasn't a small fry. He wasn't a pushover. He was a very athletic guy for the longest. All right. His father did a magnificent job of raising him. Right. So he caught Usyk. Usyk was at 165 once upon a time. And he caught him with a right hand, him being a southpaw. And I think those type of fights, Usyk learned. Okay, Usyk learned something about himself. Maybe he shouldn't be at 165. Maybe he should be a lot bigger. Because he, at that time, since he was so tall, he was like a string bean. You know what I mean? And when Sean, stocky, imagine Sean at 165. So Sean was already a stocky cat at 147. So imagine him at 165. He kind of looked like a damn black Wolverine or something, like a badger. He got some meat on him. And imagine catching him with a right hand at 165. You know what I mean? So yeah, I could see that happening because Sean Porter, I seen how he mauled guys over like Paul Malignaggi and those type of guys, or Andre Berto. He put that pain to him. So it's one of those things where, I'm not surprised that did happen, because there's a lot of fighters that fought at lower weight classes and then they went to a higher weight class and were actually stronger because, they had to find out what was best for them. Obviously, 165 wasn't the best for him, right? So, yes, that was a long time ago. A very long time ago. And might I add and have to remind you guys that Oleksandr Usyk is older than Tyson Fury by like a year and a half. Tyson Fury just turned 34. Oleksandr Usyk will be 36 in January. That's right around the corner. All right? So, but him doing that is only mind games or mind game attempts to get Oleksandr Usyk off his game. Okay, so Tyson Fury is continuing the trash talk, but once again, that gets his mind gearing up, by juicing the fight, promoting the fight, talking trash, capping, all that good stuff, because he's looking forward to a fight. And that's what we need from Tyson the Gypsy King Fury. You guys tell me what you think of Tyson Fury posing with Sean Porter, the man that beat Oleksandr Usyk. Of course, please subscribe, and you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!